Good afternoon. I'm going to ask you all to please stand up. You've been listening to a lot of people. You've taken in a lot of information. And so I want you to be able to be alert for this and take all this in. So I'm going to ask you to take a big stretch up. And take a deep breath in. And exhale. And then let's stretch to the left. I guess this is my right, so it's your left. And then let's stretch to your right. And then I'm going to ask you to come back up again. And then let's go down. Let's touch your toes if you can. If you can't, please go ahead and bend your knees. And I'm going to ask you to pat your legs on the sides as you come up. And then we're going to down the front again. And come back up the front. And then take a big breath in. And relax. I'm going to ask you all to go ahead and sit down. Thank you. How was that for you? Good. So we already started bringing the energy up. Do you see that? Yes. So I want to know how many of you feel like you could use more energy in your life? Yeah. And how many of you feel like at the end of the day that you would like, after a hard days of work, that you would like to still have a lot of energy so you can go home and be yourself and enjoy your life? Raise your hand if you're for that. Yes, I say yes to that too. And how many of you find that maybe you search for those energy drinks or caffeine to lift you up at the end of the day or in the middle of the day, like 3 o'clock? Raise your hand. Tell the truth. Yeah, okay. Some of you out there. And how many of you find that you get enticed by those pastries like cookies or candies or things like that to bring your energy level up and then just to find yourself crashing later on? Yeah, I hear you. So my name is Tomasa Macapinlac, and I know it's a tongue twister and it's okay. You can just call me Tomasa. I'm the self-care queen. I coined myself that a few years ago. I've been in practice for about 16 years in the healing arts. And 3 years ago, I went to a women's 5-element retreat. And I got to visualize what my queendom would look like. And for me, that meant us all living in harmony and balance. And when I looked at that, I renamed my practice, Self-Care Queendom. And I looked at what was I really about? And what did I advocate for my clients? And when I looked at that, I went, it's really about self-care. I really encourage people to take care of themselves. And so as I have evolved as this practitioner that I am, what I have found myself doing is evolving even deeper of what self-care looks like. And so today, I'm going to share with you what that is. You guys ready to hear about that? Yeah. Okay. So I want to share my story a little bit. Because, it's obvious that I take care of myself. I'm 49 years old, and I'm sure you're going to say, really? I have 2 adult daughters. One is 21, one is 19. And I'm happy to say that because I have lived my life as this model of self-care, my daughters have embodied that in their lives. It wasn't always that way when they were kids, let me tell you, because they fought, oh, mom, I was the Nazi mom with the food, the Nazi food mom, you got to eat this, you got to eat that. No, we're not buying those kinds of snacks, those kinds of things. And so I'm happy to say that today they have embodied that. And so, one is a vegetarian, one is like, Mom, I can't eat gluten, and those kinds of things. So and obviously I don't take medications, and even as a person who used to have what we call an asthma label, I don't have to use that inhaler anymore. I haven't had to use it for years. And so I'm really proud to say that. So I've healed myself of a lot of things. So I want to share with you that it hasn't always been this way for me. So about, I graduated from Berkeley back in 1986, engineering degree and all. And I had all these allergies back then. I mean, severe allergies. Anywhere from the hay fever to the asthma to the drippy nose that would run, and I couldn't even think. I had a foggy mind. Not only that, but I was on my path to find out what I wanted to do, because when I got out of college, I realized, engineering? What have I done here? This is not what I want to do. Oh my God, I'm not enjoying this. And thank God for my family members who said, Tomasa, do you like what you do? And I went, you mean say it's okay for me to like what I do and I'm not really enjoying this? I need to figure out what it is that I want to do. And so I went on that quest, but I didn't quite find it until later in life. Because I remember saying, okay, well, what is it? What is it that I want to do? So what happened for me is I had all these different ailments happening. So pre-marriage and children, I was on this quest. And then I got married and had kids. And I turned in what you call robot mom or superwoman, trying to do everything for everyone, being the big breadwinner, being the good employee, being the good wife, being the good mom, taking care of everybody. And guess who I wasn't taking care of? Moi. And so, the universe kind of hit me with a brick wall. Because one day, I fell flat on my face where I was really fatigued. And I was sick with a cold that I could not kick. And so for me, that was big because if you can tell right here on the stage here, you can tell that I have a lot of energy, right? So I've always had a lot of energy most of my life. So for me not to have any energy, very fatigued, I was on the road to chronic fatigue. I went to the doctor. I thought, this is pretty severe. What the heck is going on? For me to go to a Western medicine doctor was a big deal. And thank God she wasn't the one that wrote prescriptions out or, those kinds of things. So I went to the doctor. She looked at me and she said, Tomasa, you really need to go home and get some bed rest for 3 days. Really get some bed rest. I was in high-tech sales at the time. So anybody, if you're in sales, especially in Silicon Valley at the height of, when it was really blossoming or it was just booming, right? It was not a place of de-stress. It was a place of a lot of stress, and I had a lot on my plate. And so, so I said, I could do that. She said, I really mean it. You can't take care of the kids. You can't cook meals. You're not to work. You're not to do anything. Just sit in bed and rest. I said, I'm okay with that. So I went home, and I went to bed for 3 days. I sat in the bed for 3 days, and I got some rest. And but after those 3 days, I was still fatigued. I was still tired. I was still sick with a cold or virus. I couldn't kick it. I go to work, and by noon, I just wanted to go home and crawl in bed, and I would get rest every night. Really rest, like 8 hours or more. And I wake up in the morning, and I would feel like, did I sleep? Did I really sleep? It didn't feel like it. So I had this coworker of mine who was watching me, observed me, and she said, Tomasa, I have the name of this lady who I think can help you. And so I said, really? And she knew I was open to alternative things. And so I really tried to work things out with myself with nutrition and, all kinds of other things. And essential oils, whatever I could do to help myself. Well, finally I gave in. I carried, how you carry the number in your purse for weeks and, finally you said, Tomasa, let's get some help here. So I went and I got some help. I got on the table of this practitioner who actually does what I do today. And I got on that table just as she finished. I looked, I awakened. It was like I became conscious. I said, I don't know what you did, but I'm coming back. And so I want to share with you what my experience was. I got on that table and I felt like I was being plugged into source. And I felt like I was getting myself back because before marriage and children, I felt like, I was really exploring who I was blossoming, I was about to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And then I became that super mom, or that superwoman. And so when I got on that table, I said, I'm coming back. So I started to see her weekly. I tried to cut it back to every other week. It just wasn't happening. And then she offered a self-help class. And I said, sure, I'll take it. So I started to take that class. And one evening, as I was waiting to take the class, I was waiting around at work. And there was a coworker of mine who had this stiff neck. She couldn't get any relief with it. She'd gone to other kind of practitioners. I won't even mention here. But anyway, she went to other practitioners, and she wasn't able to get any help. And I looked at her and I said, I bet you Sid could help you. Sid was my practitioner. And I just put my hands on her with little I knew. And all of a sudden, my whole body just heated up. And she looked at me, and she could feel something going on. And she said, Tomasa, you're a healer and you don't even know it. I said, you think so? She said, yes. I said, oh, no. I couldn't fathom doing that. So then I went to class that evening. I told Sid, who was my practitioner, who was teaching the class. She looked at me and she smiled. Sounds to us like we got us another Jinshin Jitsu is the modality I was learning at the time. Sounds to us like we got us another Jinshin Jitsu practitioner. I said, oh, come on, no way. There's no way I could fathom it. Because I was in Silicon Valley, I was making the big bucks, and to go to holistic health and do all this is like, no way. Well, you know what? I contemplated it at the break, and I said, how do you get certified to do this? Anyway, the rest is history, because here I am. I not only do that, but I do some Chinese medicine stuff and some shamanic healing work. And so I, over the last 16 years, have given thousands of sessions to folks. And so what I'm going to share with you about energy drainers, because this is what I deal with, energy. Sometimes I say, why do I call myself the self-care queen? Because really I'm the energy queen. I can tell what's going on with somebody energetically most of the time. I can walk in a room, I can feel the energy. It's really funny because somebody says, Tomasa, are you in room 2, room 1? I said, I went to room 2 because that's where I'm speaking. You know what? I want to feel the energy of the room. Not only that, I want to help feel the energy of the room. And so, anyway, for me, what that means is that I see people come in years on, just come in the table, and I see what they present, and I see deep, deep down within their soul what is actually going on. And so we can talk about all day long about supplements. They're great. And I say you take them. This is a very earth level thing, but I want to get to the heart of the matter of why we come in here with these deficiencies or these things that go on. So I want to start off with what I like to share with you is the first secret that I share about why we have these energy drainers, what these top energy drainers are. So would you like to hear what the first one is?
Yeah.
Great. So the first one is your thoughts and your words are not congruent with what you want to create for yourself in your life. How many of you are totally happy with where you are right now in your life? Totally happy. Okay. So how many of you find out that sometimes she goes, totally? Yes, I'm saying totally. So I want to bring up the fact that what happens is folks come in on the table and I listen to languages, because as a practitioner, there's a lot of practitioners in here, and we are trained to observe. As soon as you walk in the door, we're not only observing what you look like, what your face, we might be reading your face, we might be hearing you, we might hear the voice, what kind of voice are you saying, because that tells us where you are. But I'm also listening to the language. What kind of language are you saying to yourself? I don't know what kind of thoughts you are having in your head. I might be able to track that. But a good chance is whatever language you're speaking, those are your thoughts. And so I'm going to give you an example of what that is. For instance, a few weeks ago, I had a client who came in, wonderful, wonderful person. She's a practitioner herself, a healer herself. She comes in at Tomasa, I really need your help. I don't know, I feel so stuck. And then I hear her say something, oh, my business, I just don't think I can ever make it doing this work. And I said, what did you say? I don't think I could ever make it doing this work. So guess what she was creating for herself? She was having a lot of lack in her life. She wasn't having enough clients that would support her with financial support. Not only that, but the pain that showed up in her body. Her hip was bothering her. And I can tell you, in Chinese medicine and the healing art that I practice, hip problems have to do with what we call gallbladder energy in the body. And then that is about frustration. So do you think she was frustrated? You bet she was. So I want to talk about how we embody these types of pains and things that happen to our body. Sometimes it's our thoughts, it's our words, it's how we present ourselves, how we be here in the world. And so I worked on her. And she gave me this beautiful testimonial the next day on Facebook. And said, oh my God, I feel like I'm on top of the world. And so one thing I'm going to share with you also is sometimes our thoughts we think over and over and over again. How many of you find that you think about something over and over and over again? And what do we call that when we do that? Obsessive thinking is one way to call it, yes. Another thing would be worry, if I'm going to use 6-year-old terms here, worry. And so I'm going to share with you something you can do real quick right here at your fingertips to help yourself get over your worry. So in one of the modalities I practice called Jin Shinjitsu, we use our thumbs to help us with worry. So what I'm going to invite you to do is grab one of your thumbs. either your right or your left, and whichever one you're drawn to. So I'm going to tell you a secret. Lean in. So the left side of the body is about the emotional component. Okay? What do you know about the right side of the body? It's usually about the lifestyle that we have. The right side is usually a little easier to correct. The left side is emotional. So we can't change emotions like that, can we? No. So I'm usually a left side person. I'm going to be honest. We're going to be authentic and open here. I'm usually a left side kind of person. So I invite you to continue to hold that left thumb or right thumb, whichever one you're drawn to. And let's all just take a moment and breathe. So exhale. And inhale. Close your eyes if you want to and just feel that. Relax your shoulders, relax your elbows. Continue breathing. And know that as you breathe, as you inhale, you're allowing the life force energy to come in and help you relieve as you exhale naturally. On the next exhalation, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and open your eyes and come back up here. So that's just one way of helping yourself. That's just one little tip at your fingertips. Does anyone feel a shift there? A little bit of a shift? Raise your hand if you felt a shift. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. And you know, sometimes we might need to hold it a little bit longer to feel the shift. And some maybe it's not the finger for you, by the way. Seriously. I'm going to share something with you. If you go to the Natural Healers Network table, which is the first table when you come in, there is a hand chart on the back of my handout. And it shows all the emotions for the different fingers and what you can do to help yourself. So, and then also you can go to my website, www.selfcarequeendom. If you pick up one of the cards, you can find, it's all on the card here. And you can get a special report and an audio recording that guides you through those fingers. What do you think? If you had a tool like that right at your fingertips, do you think you could use that? Yeah. I've gotten a lot of testimonials just from the fingers. So one other thing I want to share with you is the second secret. And the second secret is, lean in. We do all these activities that we have no passion for. So when you are doing some activities or you engage in something that you have no passion for, how do you feel about that? Does that lift you up? So do you feel like, oh man, I'm really exhausted and tired? How many of you feel that way? And I have to say that, because when I was in high-tech world, I might have been good in math and science and all that stuff, but when it came down to doing the high-tech stuff, and even today I have the ability to do it, I'm like, really? I don't want to do this. Let's pay someone else to do it, because it's just not my passion. My passion is really helping people to transform and grow and be more of the star energy that they're here to be. And so what I say about this is I'm going to give you an example. I have a friend of mine. And this is how it shows up in the body. I have a friend of mine who I went to college with. She has what you call the label Crohn's disease, so it's an intestinal issue. Most of you know what Crohn's disease is, it's an intestinal issue. And so she was out of work for a little bit. She didn't really need to work. Her husband, could help her be a stay-at-home mom if she wanted. So she decided she needed to go back to work because she needs to feel, self-esteem, how we women are, we want to do these things. And so she went back to work. She went to go work for a company, first of all, that was not in alignment with her beliefs. Do you think that has some issues as well? Mm-hmm. You bet. So she goes and works for this company, and guess what happens with the Crohn's disease? It exacerbates. She has to go in the hospital. She has to have surgery. Do you see how we create these illnesses in our bodies? By doing things that we do not that we have no passion for, or maybe we don't even believe in, or they're against our principles. Do you see that? I see it all the time on my table. People come in and they present their issues. Okay. But what I want to share with you is that she had that surgery, she left, she went back, she had a leave of absence, she went back to work, she went back to that J-O-B, I say, that J-O-B just to pay the bills. And she didn't even really need it to pay the bills. And so guess what she ended up doing? Do you think she's still there? No, she left. And so today I'm helping her find her life's passion. And so I'm really happy to be able to help her do that because she's like, well, I really want to do something. She's a stay-at-home mom now. She's got 3 teenage daughters. When they become teenagers, they don't really want to so involved anymore. I know that story. And so she's like, but I'd like to do something. You know, I want to be there for them. But I want to do something. So just in a few weeks, part of it is she's figured out what she wants to do. Sometimes we need to clear the pathway obstacles out of the way because we got this stuff going in the back of our head. I know I did for a while. It took me 4 years finally to leave Silicon Valley, to leave the high-tech world. When I got fed up, it was like the universe said, come on, I'm going to kick you out the door here. Let's go, girl. You know, this is supposed to be your life's passion. Go for it. And so that's what sometimes some of us need. Sometimes we need to clear some of the things, the voices in our heads, things from the past. This is where the shamanism comes in here. Clear that so that you can be more truly who you are here to be. You see that? Yeah, we all have a gift here. I believe we all have a gift. So last one, up until I got time here. So last one I want to share with you. Mean it. Get rid of the dissonance in your life. What? So you know what that means? What? Get rid of the dissidence in your life.
Okay.
So you know what that means? Is that it's time for you to cut all of that conflict out of your life. The relationships, things that you are not in alignment with principle with, how you treat Mother Earth, what products are you using if you're really into earth-friendly things, you know, those are the things we need to look at, that we need to look at. And so what I really want to point back to, it comes back to us, our relationship with ourselves. And how do we feel about ourselves? Not only how do we feel about ourselves, but are we in alignment with our own mission, our own principles, what we believe in? Can you see that? Can you see that if you're not in alignment with yourself, how that drains your energy? Does anyone see that? And when you talk about it with others about conflict in your life, you ever notice that if you're talking about conflict or some relationship issues you might be having, how it just kind of drains you? How many of you feel that way when you talk about conflict in your life? The more you talk about it, the more you're like, you know, I really don't want to talk about this anymore because, well, guess what? You're tired, right? So instead, what you need to do is you need to clear that. So whenever, you know, and I'll tell the story real quick here, so in time here. I had 3 years of my life where I didn't talk to one of my sisters. It really tore me apart. Because I need to be right instead of in harmony with her. And I learned a big lesson from that. So much of a lesson that I had a bleeding colon. I'm serious. A bleeding colon. And I know if I didn't do something about it, that I was going to be on the road to death. And that is serious. And so I remember weeping. I love to go to the bathtub. That's my favorite place to go to the bathtub to work on myself. So remember this little hand chart I gave to you? So there are so many other things I could teach you on your body to work with yourself. I like to go in the bathtub to work on myself. I remember going to the bathtub to work on myself, with that quiet time, that downtime, and just weeping from the depths of my soul, and telling my sister, I forgive you. Literally telling myself, I forgive you. I forgive you. And you know what's so funny about it? Today I don't even remember what the heck I stopped talking about that. And that's what I'm talking about. And so today I tell her, you know, we still have our little stuff that goes on. I just say, you know, I can never go back there again. I really can't. I really can't. It's out this time. So those are the 3 energy drainers. I invite you to take a look at your life on this deep, deep level, because that's what self-care is to me. Looking at it from a deep level of what is going to help me take care of myself. Because when you take care of yourself on that level, all the other stuff will fall into place. You will want to eat right. You will want to exercise. You will want to take those supplements and you can take them naturally because you take care of yourself so easily. Thank you all for listening.